Hey everybody, welcome back. It seems like it's been quite a while since my last review, but it really hasn't. I just had fun with them, so it's something I missed. But I'm back now, and I'm doing the third season of Wilfred. First I want to say hello again to anybody that watched my previous reviews. And if you're new, greetings and welcome. Now, last thing I did was Bates Motel. And this time it's Wilfred. The thing about that is, with Bates Motel, it was a new series, so it looked good, but I had no real way of knowing at first if I was going to enjoy it. And of course, I did, and I finished out the whole review, every episode, and had a lot of fun with it. But this time around, I've already seen Wilfred. I've seen the first 2 seasons, I love it, there's so much good about it. So I'm always going in with previous knowledge with these reviews, so this one should be a lot of fun. Now, as with Bates Motel, these reviews will have spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want anything spoiled for you, go watch the episode first. I talk about what happens in the episodes, my opinions of it, what I liked, yada yada yada. So, the whole series, overall, there are 2 things that really draw me in. And with each episode, I'm going to throw them in together. I'm going to explain points of this, because this isn't an overall series review, it's episodic. The 2 things that really drag me in and really make me enjoy this series, all the psychological twists and turns, you know, why can Ryan see Wilfred, and all of that, explanations back and forth, fuses you, it makes you think, you can analyze the hell out of it, and it'll come up with a million different theories. I really love that. Because of that, it's extremely smart, and there really aren't that many smart shows on television anymore. There are a lot of entertaining ones, but not so much smart. Now, the second thing is the humor. It's in your face, raunchy, but it's not unorganized, it's not just shock value, it's really well done and smart, just as a psychological. Okay, now I'm going to throw these episodes together because they're coming on in 2s now, and Bates Motel was an hour, so I'm just going to basically pretend like it was one full episode. Now let's see. The drawing. Okay, since the beginning, I mean the end of the 2nd season, this has had me on edge. And I personally like how they didn't explain it. You know, I'm glad they didn't come in and explain it straight up. There were theories and everything. I really like that. I love being able to think and like hear what, you know, the characters think and what the show wants you to think and all that. And I'm sure it'll be explained it roughly by the end, somewhat. But who knows? Maybe we'll never know. Maybe it will be up to the viewer. We will see. But that was great. I love the drawing. I love the crime scene. I mean, the crime wall that Ryan had. That Wilfred, he was trying to explain him and all the theories. Like, you know, how Ryan thought he had mental illness, which I believe he does. He's had episodes and stuff. I love how he thought about that. He was thinking about that. He was really trying to explain Wilfred. This adds a lot to the characters because it gives them a mind of their own. It makes them smart and makes them deep and developed. And I never really disliked Elijah Wood. I mean, you know, he's the Hobbit and he's, you know, he's Bilbo, yada yada yada. And then he had that one scene in Sin City, which was pretty creepy and pretty good. But Wilfred was the one that really made me enjoy him as an actor. It really put him up there for me. And it's great. And Jason Gann is great. The 2 have such chemistry. They work so well together. They're hilarious and everything. But anyway, let's get back to the episodes. Another thing was the whole Wilfred saying, you know, this is one of the funny parts. You know, I'm a magical being. I've been around forever. I just don't remember because I'm a dog. And dogs have bad memory. So of course I want it remember not remembering. And that's just smart humor right there. Another thing about that was, another thing that I like about the show in both episodes, little dog habits. Okay, you can debate all night, all day, for weeks and years about why Ryan sees Wilfred the way he is as a human in a dog suit. But it becomes very clear with little habits. Just things that Wilfred does that are so very dog. So it is undeniable that he is a dog. You can go on from that, think what you want, but he is a dog. Another thing about the first episode, it was in the first episode, that I found really smart and really well done was when Wilfred counteracted Ryan's theory. Now, I always saw the holes in Ryan's theory at first. It was all psychological. How did he see Wilfred in the past? I mean, how did he see Wilfred? You know, I could see him seeing his old dog. I could see him seeing some other dog. If the dog behind the tree was, brown, scraggly, or something like that, was completely different than Wilfred, I can understand that being an excuse, the psychological stuff. But, and the mental illness and stuff. But it was clear that it was Wilfred. Obvious. And Wilfred's a dog. So he has a short lifespan compared to that to humans. There was no freaking way he could be there back then. And Wilfred said, and this was another smart and funny part at the same time, that if Ryan was just figuring out that Wilfred was all in his head, then how come he was still there? How come he could still see him? Of course, Ryan turns around and he's like, Wilfred's all in my head, Wilfred's all in my head. Turns back around, Wilfred is gone. And of course, no one believed that he was really gone. But it was really well done. Of course, Wilfred pops up and starts laughing at him. And I laughed. I laugh a lot through these shows. And I just love it. That was really funny. Another funny part is how kind of the off-color, raunchy humor and such like that. They're not everyday humor. You're not going to go out on the street and tell this stuff. When Wilfred was in the vet after he drank that cocktail, he started talking about having Anne Frank and how he barked and screamed and stuff, and the Germans came in and took Anne Frank away, and it's terrible to laugh at that. It really is, but it's great. And then Vincent Van Gogh, which wasn't as funny as Anne Frank, but talking about how he had the paint on his ear, and whoever thought it was banana pudding, which, Vincent Van Gogh was the one that cut off his ear. So that was really smart humor. I loved that. That was great. And back to the magical being, another funny part about it was when he was getting his stomach pumped. And the vet used it too. Brian said that Wilfred was like, I'm not a magical being, I'm not a magical being, I'm not a magical being. And that was hilarious because you could really see Wilfred doing that. So great. And, okay, the drawings. Again, let's go back to the drawings for a minute. Okay, now how many drawings are there? Because we saw Wilfred bury one, so who knows? It could be millions of drawings, and I hope it really dives into that. I hope that gets explained, at least somewhat. I don't like if the series explained it to you. This is how it is. This is set in stone. And that's what I like is it never does that. Leaves it, explains it a little bit, leaves it open and everything. Let's see. One more thing I noticed about the first episode was that when they went to the house and the clones and all that, there was a door that the lady did not want Ryan to see. She ran up and closed it. That was really suspicious. I'm really wondering what's behind that door, if that's ever going to be explained, or it's just going to be understood that that was something else. But I caught that. I'm really wondering what that's going to be. I like it, We'll see what happens. the reactions and the interaction between, obviously they're both Jason Gann, but the clone Wilfred, whatever his name was, I don't remember, and the regular Wilfred were great. They both somewhat had the same personality, but they're so different, and the way they interacted was hilarious. The bowel movement, the conflict, and everything. How, the other dog thought he was being tortured and stuff because of the pictures, the silly pictures where Lee would dress him up. And Wilfred loved it. He was all over it. It was great. So, that's all I'm going to say for the first episode. Now, the second episode. Let me ask you this. Let me ask the viewers. Does the mailman remind you of Spencer from the first season? I mean, he's not really Spencer. There are little things about him, just his character, that really made me think of Spencer. That's the first thing I thought of when he started to really interact. And he's hilarious. I really hope to keep him in the series, at least for a little while, for the season or whatnot. He's reading the mail out loud at the bar, and that was fucked up, but it was hilarious. And he's just crazy. He's weird, but this is the characters that this show excels at. Some normal guy is not going to have a place in this show. Jenna and Drew are somewhat normal, but they're still messed up. Not as messed up as Ryan or anybody else, but you know what I mean. And this is just my theory. Maybe you guys thought this too. But I couldn't help but notice that both robberies took place when Ryan was with the mailman. First in the bar. Now you might think, well, how would he know which one Ryan's car was? He was the mailman. He'd be there every day. He'd see the car in the driveway. He'd obviously know which one it was, and he'd tell the thief, go break into that one, yada, yada, yada. And then when he went over to the mailman's house, Ryan was suspiciously robbed again. Now maybe it is just a coincidence. Maybe it'll turn out to be that way. But I'm wondering, and that's a theory I'm going to let sit in my head and see if I'm right or not. If I'm right, great. If I'm wrong, whatever. It'll still be a lot of fun. Now, one of the strongest points the second episode had was the whole religious fiasco with Wilfred. That was so amazingly well done. Complete opposite of what Wilfred was. And it never really explained. It left it up to you to think of whether it really was Wilfred being jealous of the mailman, or Wilfred was actually scared and he went to God and all that. Of course, by the end of the episode, he gets out of it. You knew he was. It was so well done. The baptizing scene was hilarious. Little things that he did that we'd have his sinful life were so great. In a way, it contradicted Wilfred, but he stayed Wilfred at the same time. So well done. And, I have been waiting a while for this season premiere, and I was not disappointed at all. It was great. So great. Okay, back to the mailman again. Did anybody else think that Wilfred was the one that attacked his friend? At the end, we found out it was a pit bull, which, of course, isn't Wilfred. The whole time I was thinking, Wilfred did it. Wilfred did it. Wilfred did it. Wilfred did it. But I guess not. Oh, and the last thing I'm going to go on. Second episode was very good, but didn't have as much material for me to talk about. Back to the religious thing was Jenna and Drew and the screaming, oh God, Jesus, Jesus. And of course, Wilfred doesn't understand what's going on. He's just a dog. But you do, and you're just like, oh Lord. So it's great. And one final thing about a religious experience was death. Explaining death to Wilfred, how he didn't understand. He thought people always came back. When they left, he thought they died. And when they returned, he thought they came back. and having to explain that to Wilfred, and in a way it really destroyed him, and somewhat, because he made the reference to Marley and Me, was really kind of disturbing in a way, but was also really funny, and I love how they tackled death without being too somber and serious, and death is bad, death is the end, la 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 la. And they put a great humor to it, they put a great twist to it, we're still keeping it a bit morbid and disturbing. So that's my thoughts on the first and second episodes. I know this one's a little late. I had just been to the beach, so I was going to shoot it there, but the room wasn't very well set up for it. So I had to wait till I got back and figure out everything, fix everything, get unpacked, yada yada yada. The new episodes are tomorrow, and I'm home, so I should be able to get those up tomorrow and get them up pretty well. Sorry this review's a little stale. I haven't been doing it in a while, but I'm getting back in the swing of things. Had a lot of fun with this one, talking to you guys, explaining what I liked. The series is great, so being a fandom is great. Talking about it and showing my fandom is great. But anyway, until next time, which will probably be tomorrow, peace out.